Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be at BASD Business Day today, and I think today's discussion has really shown that the private sector has the potential to be, and may I say, must become the primary engine of innovation and problem solving on which governments and multi-stakeholders depend if sustainable development goals, should they be clearly defined, are also to be met. And let's be honest and transparent here. Business influences, and as we all very well know, proactively lobbies governments. And we need business to step up and take responsibility to push governments forward on positive policy, regardless of what is coming out of Rio+20. Because I think nothing can be gained from the current race to what I call the financial top if it is coupled with a race to the environmental and social bottom. And we must not just look to benefit our bottom line, but rather the triple bottom line in the long run. I think what we've seen today, there is a lot of good news. We've seen how private sector, how we so often maligned for the profit motive, have the potential to respond faster than many governments to the call for greener and more sustainable business solutions. So is it not also our responsibility and obligation as humans and as businesses to become accountable, ethical, and responsible to our environment and to contribute to the greater good? In these occasions, I often use a quote of Jean-Paul Sartre, who I think said it perfectly. Once we know and are aware, we are responsible for our action and our inaction. We can do something about it or not. Either way, we're still responsible. And in this respect, I think today we've heard of many achievements by individuals and teams from the private sector. And I'm not going to summarize them all because Peter has already highlighted them. But as much as this and today and the last few days are positive takeaway, we also have not heard from the many companies that do not take note of, or even worse, don't actually care for the environment or society. Companies that dump hazardous waste, that employ bonded labor, that are corrupt and lobby to prevent good laws from being passed, who choose not to value natural capital, and those that hide their negative social and environmental impacts to protect their interest at all costs. Indeed, all those that have a vested interest in unsustainable development, while they greenwash at the expense and credibility of serious businesses. But I hope and I truly believe that the days of companies such as these are coming to an end. Transparency and full disclosure in terms of our positive and negative impacts will fast become the golden rule, or I certainly hope it will. That it will be a given for the next generation of business leaders to not even question that business must be a win-win for all stakeholders, including nature and society. That the current business model will either transform and evolve or become extinct. The leaders of the private sector today have a vital role in developing and sharing best practice, and of course, driving behavioral change. But we also need to level the playing field and scale up positive solutions, and it's all about scaling up, as we discussed today. And I fully agree with what Paul Polman said earlier. There is a huge opportunity that comes with scaling up. And innovation, creativity, and collaboration is a key part of this approach. As well, valuing natural capital and the true cost of conducting business to nature is essential in the overall equation. Placing a monetary value on ecosystem services a business relies on, as we've done with our Puma environmental profit and loss account, and are in the process of expanding across our brands at PPR, including brands such as Gucci, Bottega Veneta, Alexander McQueen, Balenciaga, Yves Saint Laurent, or Stella McCartney, I personally believe is a useful means of doing just that. And I hope that some of you today, and that's my call for action for all of you, will join me as first movers in scaling up the EP&L. In closing, I'm pleased to note that today provided evidence that change is possible on a micro and also, if we want, on a macro scale, if we really choose to. And that we have viable mechanisms and scalable approaches available to us already to move the needle towards a more equitable and sustainable future. However, we must now ensure that our best work today is also leveraged. As businesses, we normally compete, but here we absolutely must collaborate. I think we all can agree that our ambitious words must at some point really translate into tangible actions. And I'm with Paul Polman that we all need to individually and collectively convince everyone else now. Somebody actually asked me just before this closing what my perfect world and my paradise would look like. Let me just say that it is a world in which business is inclusive and holistic by working with nature and society combined in peace. You can call it paradise or a perfect world, but it's certainly a world I would love to be a part of and live in. Or as Martin Luther King said, I had a dream, and for one, do not want to turn it into a nightmare. Thank you.